Level 4, Cycle 2, green stripe. For this stripe, we're going to be covering the Ridgehand counters. Looks like this. First is a Ridgehand attack. This angle. And a Ridgehand counter. Different angle. All right, let's break all of those down. Now, the first two, you might have noticed those or remember those. We have our near side and far side block and punch. And that's what I can use when I'm sparring with my partner and they're throwing a Ridgehand at me. So if I have my partner, we just learned the Ridgehand as an attack on that last stripe. So let's say if my partner throws a front hand Ridgehand, I can use this near side block to just protect the side of my head and then follow it up with my punch. So again, he comes in this way. If he happens to use the backhand and go to the opposite side, that's when I can use that far side. So bring my hand to the opposite side of my head, block and punch. And again, so again, these counters should be very familiar. We're just applying it to this new strike of the Ridgehand. One other thing we can add in here is using my Ridgehand as part of a counter. So if my partner, let's say he's throwing a back knuckle with this front hand, I can check it just like I would do for my far side, but instead of throwing a punch, I can actually use my Ridgehand with the backhand. So if you remember, the Ridgehand mechanics is like a punch when I'm throwing that attack, so I could use it in the same way. Block, and instead of going with the punch, I go over the top for that Ridgehand. And I could be blocking a number of different strikes here. For right now, we're just doing it versus this back knuckle. Block and over. Now, this will only work with just that one side, with the backhand Ridgehand. So again, one more time, block and Ridgehand. So a couple different variations. We have our blocking versus the Ridgehand that he throws on me on either side. And then we have the counter that I can do using the Ridgehand instead of the punch. Okay, let's take another look. Ridgehand counter. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And attention, bow.